a great big hey howdy hey to all of my goofy goobers out there. Welcome back to Animanic with Comic Auzi, where we talk about pretty much any piece of media as long as it's animated and pretty much do commentaries on those pieces of media, just live. Live for you and not live for the people who watch this in the future. Hello, future people. Now, as you can tell in the upper right corner, I'm going to watch this from a home media copy, but it is available on Disney+. And as you might be able to see in the chat over on that side, that squad has said that it does open with a warning on Disney+, but it looks like that chat has already scrolled past that point. So, anyway, what we're doing tonight, we're watching Peter Pan. To anybody who knows this movie, you probably know exactly why there's a warning on Disney+. So go ahead and filter through that warning. But barring that, Peter Pan is yet another delightful classic from Disney with some fun songs. And for all intents and purposes, it's yet another very beautiful movie. I think you found, like, by this point, Disney has really come into their own, that even when they do a lot of gag work, you know, like even in Cinderella, they actually put it toward, you know, affecting the story. So, like, the mice are kind of superfluous initially, but then when they start making the dress, and then they start saving Cinderella by getting the key, that sort of thing happens, you really get a sense that they're actually, the comic characters are actually contributing to the plot, and we definitely do see a lot of that here as well. So, without any further ado or preamble, let us go ahead and begin Peter Pan. And yet another warning, because I love warnings, apparently. We are going to begin this movie, alright? But my copy has the 80s and 90s Disney Castle logo. On Disney Plus, it's most likely going to just start with the RKO Radio Pictures logo. So you're going to have to watch the blurry image on screen, which hopefully should show you enough to help you catch up with where you should be. And I'm going to start my copy in 3, 2, 1, go. As you can see, Castle logo on my copy. Just kind of abruptly cut off. RKO Radio Pictures, distributed by RKO Radio Pictures Incorporated. Walt Disney presents, as he tends to do, Peter Pan. Oh, my movie skipped a little bit, so an adaptation of the play Peter Pan by Sir James M. Barrie. Walt Disney Productions is grateful to the Hospital for Sick Children, Great Ormond Street in London, to which Sir James Barrie gave his copyright of Peter Pan. Okay. With the talents of Bobby Driscoll, God rest his soul, Catherine Beaumont, Hans Conried, Bill Thompson, Heather Angel, and I didn't get to read everyone else. Sound director, sound recording, film editor, Donald Halliday. Oh, Ab Iwerks' was in there. Go Ab. Ooh! This is a really pretty background. Ooh. And that is unfortunate. That is a very unfortunate background. This is nice, but I really like the boat one. The boat one was really good. Layout. Mary Blair and Claude Coates. The Chads are in the movie. They're working on the movie. Mary Blair and Claude Coates. My main mans. This is Milt Kahl, Frank Thomas, Wolfgang Reitherman, Ollie Johnston, Les Clark. How many guys is that? Oh, Mark Davis as well. He's a big character designer. Character animators: Hal King, Cliff Nudberg, Fred Moore, Hal Umbro, Eric Claire Weeks. Okay. 3 directors. Huh. Interesting. Oh, interesting. It has? Are we stuck in a time loop? Naturally. Okay. Yeah, the fog is just blocking off everything. Very beautiful, though. Indeed. You know, Okay, that's really nice. Son of a bitch. That felt painful. Ah, yes, they did. Of course they did. I mean, how many kids have played around their dresser like this just exactly? Huh. Is Catherine Beaumont intentionally trying to sound older, or is it just the time difference between movies when she recorded? Because I noticed it sounded quite a lot older than Alice. So interesting. Especially when Alice and Wendy are kind of depicted at a similar age. Like, if you go to the Disney parks, their actresses are not terribly different, except that one's wearing a blonde wig and the other isn't. Hello, DF. I'm gonna start sharing the screen with you. All right. We've already.
You haven't started already.
We have. We've begun. We have begun.
Yep. Okay.
Gotta love Nana, the absolute queen of the hour, cleaning up after these kids, and also having fun while doing it. Look at that, stacking up the. She's so particular.
And images. Where are we? Okay, we're at Nana. Okay.
Nana's insolent pup. That would sound pretty mean to a dog.
Okay, hang on. That
medicine don't taste good, do it?
image is not playing for me at the moment.
I'll try restreaming it. Hang on. Try that. Talk about we work like a dog, yeah. Again, off she goes.
There we go.
She is fast at that, the building.
Ah. Okay. No, it's Conried, right? Hans Conried?
Yeah, Conried, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Snidely Whiplash.
Yes, Snidely Whiplash. That was his other iconic role. He also played the Grinch once.
I love this moment.
It's like, what am I seeing?
Again, it's the whole deal of, like, in Alice in Wonderland, when they draw the perfectly round eyes, it's so funny.
They really love making the male humans more
goofy, yes. I mean, this is as old as, like, Snow White. The male characters will always potentially look goofy, but the women will always look beautiful. Just no exceptions. Even the little girls, like, even Alice and Wendy are not allowed to not look beautiful.
Unless they're villains, like the Queen of Hearts.
I mean, that's true. And then you get some nice comic females. We'll get to Ursula eventually. I will love talking about her. She's a lot of fun. Anyway, but this movie, that chalk, like, that should have left a stain, right?
Yeah, cartoon logic. Because of Catherine Beaumont playing Wendy as well, there's that Disney theory that Wendy and Alice are like cousins or something.
It's not entirely outlandish.
Or maybe. Wait a minute,
also,
when was Alice in Wonderland written?
That's a good question.
Well, I'll look it up. If I find the discrepancy of the years, it would whether they're cousins or maybe like grand. Children.
I guess if you follow book logic, they'd be besties. Scribe says 1900 to 1904, so not that far off. So probably cousins.
Yeah.
Really, the books are that
Alice
recent?
living in the country. Alice being the country cousin.
Huh.
I mean, they're both English, so.
That's also true. Look at him go. This would be the first of many comic scenes that Hans Conried has to his name in this movie.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what else he did for Disney. He was in Ben and Me as Thomas Jefferson.
Again, the perfectly round eyes are always so funny.
Okay. Okay, now I agree with him on that part, but I think he's taking it out on Nana too much. Like,
It saves you money on a nursemaid. All you need to do is pay for her food and then put water in her bowl. Come on.
you see a lot of very strict fathers in these early Disney movies.
It's not unwarranted considering how Walt's father was to him.
Yeah, they talked about him saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah.
Might also be why he has a mustache here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely the reason why.
No, sorry, this scene here?
Also, he's got a great mustache, you gotta admit. That's a great mustache. Also, I gotta love, in comparison, that this portly, more realistically figured character is basically the same voice as the lanky, weird Captain Hook. It's just so much fun.
Yeah. But they did that in tradition of the play, that the same actor would play Hook and Mr. Darling.
And also, Peter Pan... I guess... No, actually, Neverland is more like Oz, where it's actually real in the story, but in the adaptations, it's always like a dream or something.
Hey. Yeah, I guess.
The cufflinks. God damn it, kid. I never knew what those were. He was always saying something about cufflinks, and only now do I realize, oh, those were the cufflinks. Okay. Okay, see, this is kind of what I was talking about last week with Alice's dress. How, like, you can see that the edge of the sheet is being animated, but the sheet itself is static. With the exception of here where she's breathing under it, so it needs to move. It's like,
okay,
that is your celluloid economy right there.
Okay, now if I was a mom and my kids had said, "Oh yeah, it's this guy, this shadow came to my window," I'd be very concerned.
And here she calls it out like being safe.
Yeah, they completely take out the ant that's in the play.
Well,
I mean, they literally left their children alone here.
I mean, to be fair,
yes, like
Nana. I mean, like, Nana's not in the nursery, but she's still outside the house. She can cause a ruckus if anything happens, and
yes, but
I don't know if this is intentional or not, but the way they light his face in a moment here is very creepy. You know,
anyway, what I
God, that is so scary.
I wanted to go back and say about these strict Disney dads. The interesting thing here is that you show them being strict, but what separates them from like the villainous characters is that you see their human side. You know?
Yeah, and it makes them seem almost reasonable, like you'd partially agree with them if you weren't really on the side of the kids more so, because you want to believe that Peter Pan is real, and well, here he is.
once you get to King Triton, you kind of get the same vibe. I feel like a lot of people at Disney just have really harsh dads. Now it's harsh. Now it's becoming harsh moms and grandmas, but
I know, right? Even like Brave, but again, we're talking about this movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a trend we're gonna see in a lot of these movies.
Here's something interesting. How are they painting her wings? I mentioned, like, in some cases, if they did a drop shadow or something like that had to be translucent or the like, they would refilm the footage on top of itself to make the piece seem partially translucent. But with her wings, I'm thinking, like, did they have to do the finest clear brushstroke? Actually, what if it is, like, the faintest ink wash? It could be. I don't know. This seems like a very difficult thing to do.
I know that mirror scene was... the live-action model had inspired that. Like, so what would you think if you saw yourself in the mirror for the first time? I think, are my hips really that big? I mean, people criticize that part now, but hey, that was the live-action model's idea. So
you gotta give some credit. Like,
it wasn't misogynistic. She was thinking.
That was interesting. So I saw from the celluloid overlap that the arms were a darker shade than the rest of his body. Are they really just doing such a fine job at painting these shadows? And look at him go. He's just trying to...
I mean, this Wendy's actually a lot chattier than in the... than the play, I think.
I do have to wonder about that. Okay, this is some great animation here. Animators are having fun, clearly.
This is probably why people like Tinkerbell so much. Like,
yes,
she's
entirely why.
imperfect.
And then there's that. God.
She's flawed, but the
Scary
way
face number 2.
in her expressions is just...
Okay.
Okay. Don't ever put it that way.
You have to wonder, did they make the decision because Catherine Beaumont just wouldn't shut up, or is it that like that she just she had a lot of good things to say, like she was good at ad-libbing or whatever? Like you have to wonder.
Remember how sassy she was in Alice, so they probably incorporated that sass into Wendy here.
At least by having her just talk a lot.
Yeah.
Because she's definitely she's less sassy than Alice, just in general. There you go.
Yeah, well, remember she's also a bit older than Alice, so she's a bit more refined.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I heard that Walt Disney, despite the success of this film, was not very pleased with its final results. And
Well,
a lot of it has to do with Peter Pan as a character.
Well, honestly, I don't blame him. He's kind of boyish in that way that's very like...
There's a reason Peter Pan is presented as a villain in Once Upon a Time.
I mean...
You haven't watched that show, have you?
No.
Oh, well, I may have spoiled something. I'll say nothing more.
That's fine.
He's not a good guy. He actually isn't. Have you... In the play, he kills the Lost Boys when they get too old.
Yeah. Kind of thankful
Yeah,
that
they
Neverland is at least a dream / magical in this movie.
Yeah, well, they also say that
And...
they like no that none of them ever grow up in Neverland land.
Yeah, no kidding.
Only one reason why the pirates want to leave so badly.
Something I mentioned earlier, just thought I pointed out to you, is that Catherine Beaumont sounds a little bit older in this movie than she did in the last week's movie. And it could be the time between recording Alice and this movie, or it could have been an intentional acting decision. Couldn't tell you.
I mean, yeah. Let's see.
And the thing is, her plot about no longer being young enough for the nursery actually works with the slightly older sounding voice by comparison.
Oh, she's supposed to be like 14, maybe.
I mean, if she's too old for the nursery, yeah, probably.
Yeah, and you know, around this time, they would have started considering suitors. At least an engagement, you know?
That's what your brother said, kid. I love that. Okay, I think I could see a little bit of Bobby Driscoll in that movement where he was like doing his arm thing and then turning around. It's like, you know. It's like, again,
poor
like,
Bobby Driscoll.
Yeah. God rest his soul. But like, I really want to talk about the decisions they made, like, with acting decisions. In fact, if you can, try to point out mannerism similarities between Wendy and Alice, you know, because they use live action references of I think the hand thing just there, Alice would do that a few times, where she'd fold her fingers a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm thinking about it. Catherine Beaumont does really talk with her hands.
Yeah.
I don't know how to call it, like the talking dainty hands.
I think there she does the hands thing again. Just folding her hands together. It's like the two things she does is like she either folds her hands together or she puts her hands on her skirt. I noticed that a lot between both of these characters. God, dropped like a fucking rock.
It's probably how a young British girl in the 19th century would have been taught. You got to be proper.
Yes, indeed.
look busy with your hands in a way.
Keep your hands politely tucked in or prepared for a curtsy, I guess.
Yeah. Or
Tinkerbell knows what's going up.
Your dress is unwrinkled.
Again, I think the animators were having a laugh with that joke back there where Tinkerbell, Peter's smacking her rear. Gotta love that they're just basically starting the lyrics that we're gonna hear later. Also, I love the dissonant strings there. It gives a slightly nervous tone to, flying. And it's like, that's fair. If you were flying of your own volition, it's kind of spoopy. Even Nana just can't take it.
Yeah, here's something you can't get in the live action Peter Pans. The animals.
And this. Nana barking. That would scare off any, intruders. Too bad Peter Pan is super sneaky.
Yeah, but it's London. Dogs are barking all the time.
Yeah. It's a matter... Now...
So if you once we get to 100
I've heard the meme about that lyric, but if you hear it in the cleaner, re-recorded version for the theme park attraction, Peter Pan's Flight, you know that the lyric is, "Take the path that moonbeams make." But because of the fuzzy audio, someone thought it sounded like, "Think of Batman pooping snakes." Actually, on the topic of theme park attractions, Shanghai Disneyland has a version of Peter Pan's Flight, and they replicate that bit of Nana floating with an animatronic figure. It's actually really cool. Really cute.
Cool.
Just ruin it for her. And there. Oh, God.
Karma. Instant karma.
Instant karma.
That's what I mean. Think about
Here's the moment that
overall,
everyone
it's not
remembers.
A very nice theory, but...
Now,
we saw it at Disneyland, remember? We saw it at Disneyland, the actual second star to the right.
We did see an actual second star to the right. That was hilarious.
And it was in Fantasyland, so it was close to the
That's
Peter Pan
also
ride.
very true. Was that the last night?
I don't remember. I mean, I can
No,
check my
because
phone. I should have the
no,
date.
because I think the last night was like the fireworks, and I think that would
yeah.
have to have been the night before. I think.
I think so.
Anyway, and here they go. I felt like when they jump cut to the closer up background art of the house earlier, it was just making me think because they're cross-fading here. But I'm reminded of the Tex Avery cartoon, Who Killed Who? Where the way they disguise their cuts is by having the lightning flash, which is kind of brilliant. But Disney didn't really have that luxury here, I suppose. And on the topic of funny male character designs, all the pirates are such great designs.
I remember listening to a podcast talking about Mr. Smee as a henchman. Mr. Smee's not a dum-dum, just... because he's not as tough, they all pick on him. He's supposed to be German.
I remember the last guy with the red hair was like supposed to be Scottish.
He said, "Und tell the captain." That's really supposed to be German.
I think that was just supposed to be a random other pirate, honestly, but it was the same guy doing the voice. Oh, that design on the map is very unfortunate.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I almost forgot that was a
Yikes.
thing there.
I mean, everybody remembers the really racist bit, but I think that one really everyone glosses over because nobody remembers that there's a place called Cannibal Cove on this. Also, you see how thin his mustache is, and it's casting a shadow in like 2 different directions. When
I
the,
wonder
at least when
if-
the mustache is
I wonder
dropping
if
off
this
the
was
edge.
why, because Rocky and Bullwinkle came after this, right? That they gave that twirly mustache to Snidely Whiplash.
Huh? What, the movie after this one?
No. Rocky and Bullwinkle, because Hans Conried.
Yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle's a TV show. The TV
Yes.
really took
No, I
off.
mean, if wondering because if they had the same actor that they
No,
had the same twirly mustache. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they did. Hans Conried.
Now
Conrad
here
did-
is like one of those most badass things that Disney villains have ever done.
I love the way he keeps spinning the cigarette holder back and forth.
Just
The
so.
life. And
And he doesn't even look while he shoots. I see people watch this movie for the first time and they're like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, he's not mad. He's just like, "Really? You could have let him finish the song."
And again, the perfectly round eyes again for even just a split second are so funny.
Aw.
You know, here's a question.
Huh?
Do the animators who work on a character in one movie work on the same character in the next movie because they share a voice actor? Like, do the animators for The White Rabbit animate Smee because they share a voice actor?
That is a very good question.
Because they already
I
know
don't
the
have
mannerisms
these.
of the actor really well, and they can capture their likeness pretty well, and they often employ that in these designs.
Yeah,
Oh
because
god, those eyes are really fucked up for an alligator.
Smee does look and sound like the White Rabbit a lot, except Smee. I don't know. It's more. What's the accent I'm looking for? It sounds a little more. I'm not quite Cockney, but you know, like there's a different it's a different British accent. You know what I mean?
He's probably like, he's you know what I think? I think Smee is, Ireland is off the coast, right? It's off the coast of England. It's like it's not part of mainland England. So my thought is like so I'd have to think he'd probably be in a part of England like close to southern Scotland or something. You know, where the accents
I mean,
would
they are
kind
pirates, so
where the accents would mix a little bit. And he may just be doing a generic pirate accent too. But it sounds vaguely Scottish, maybe a little Irish. Oh, Fizzy's here. Hi, Fizzy.
Scottish is kind of deeper.
This is a great bit. I think everybody forgets this bit, but this is so much fun. He just shaving the bird's ass.
It's not Irish. How does this bird not notice for that?
Well, wait until the aftershave comes on. Oh yeah. And then just
Yeah, thank you, Fizzy, for clarifying what I said. Not all English accents are the same. I'm just
That's
not
what
sure
I'm thinking.
which part of England is meant to be. But it's definitely not Irish or Scottish.
that's why I'm thinking like Northern England's, but not Southern Scotland. You know, just like because I think the Cockney accents tend to be in that region, out in the countryside. You know.
Now, Cockney accents are more like this, I think.
There they are.
It's like America, and you think...
Oh, sure, certainly. Look at all these goofy-ass pirate men. They're so much freaking fun. Also, Hook has such a fabulous head of hair.
Yeah.
It's me.
Did you mention the thing about his hand before I showed up?
his hand being gone?
Yeah, that it was in the play. It's actually his right hand that was cut off. They changed it to left hand because it was easier to animate.
I guess most of the animators were right-handed, so they figured it'd be easier to animate a right-handed person.
Yeah, and then and then they made fun of that when it said, "Oh no, it was his left hand." Oh, thank you, Wendy.
You know. Actually, I think that's also a joke that they do in Avatar: The Last Airbender in the Ember Island Players episode, where Zuko's scar is on the opposite side when they're doing the play. So that's another Peter Pan connection there for you. Actually, another Peter Pan connection is that they have the Avatar.
Avatar is a girl
who they can fly.
They
played by a girl like Peter Pan as well. So a lot of Peter Pan references in that episode.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time that Peter Pan was played by a male.
Maybe I should do an Avatar reference. Maybe I should do an Avatar marathon, like 2 episodes a night at one point for this. Or maybe
broke the tradition of having Peter Pan being played by a female with this movie.
True. Not at Disneyland. I think when Disneyland first opened, they did have a lot of women playing the character actor.
I'm talking about this is the very first time that anybody's had
in a movie, in a media.
Played by a man.
Yeah. You know, there's a kind of twisted logic when you really think about the Lost Boys here. Foxes are about that size, but some of these kids probably had to have skinned the baby versions of the animals to make their outfits.
Oh my god, I always thought they were just pajamas.
I mean, are they though? Because you do got fur elements on them. He probably, like, Cubby probably skinned a cub. Everyone else, like, got their pretty larger animals.
I mean, wait a minute. What about the rabbit? Rabbits aren't that big.
Some rabbits can get that big, if you've ever seen them. They can get pretty big.
Okay, now Tinkerbell is downright diabolical.
She is freaking brutal.
And people love her so much.
Are they furries?
Because they relate to her.
No, I think they just, they had to have some clothes, and so they hunted down animals and skinned them,
They just like animal juice.
And just to paint a picture, they are friends with the... there's no other way to say it. They are friends with the Injuns, so they could have made their pajamas for them and also skinned animals for it. Yeah.
In the play, they actually shot her with an arrow, but then she was saved by the...
Ooh, wow.
I love how they leave out the whole kiss thing in here, because I never really quite got that.
Guys! Gotta love how shy the little skunk boy is. He's the only Lost Boy who doesn't talk. I think it's pretty consistent. Like even like the sequel and Jake and the Neverland Pirates. I don't know if the Lost Boys showed up in that though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cubby's voice has changed in later iterations. It's weird.
Like his voice
like it sounded different.
That is
like
true.
Here it's like this. In the sequel, it sounds a lot more like a kid.
It sounds a little higher pitched, a little younger.
When he shows up in the Chip and Dale movie, he actually has a British accent.
Yeah. Well,
that's what I mean. Like,
I guess the Lost
voice has changed.
I guess the Lost Boys would be. And off she goes. Love the bit where she like burned through the leaf. That was always so interesting to me. It was like so hot-headed.
It's like not forever. Well, for a week then.
See, they hunt. It's not
okay.
There's no reason why they couldn't skin their...
I can't believe I never thought of that. I thought they just literally had animal jammies.
Love his little British, like, I shall try to be really on my post. He's so, it's almost cuter than the little one.
I wonder if what part of the reason this was my brother's favorite growing up was because of his name's also Michael.
Maybe.
I know. I bet he looks at the movie a lot more differently now. So, yeah.
Oh, and hey, guess which part's gonna move on the background? Take a guess. Did you guess that part? Because that was the only part that wasn't painted. There wasn't watercolor. Also, gotta point out that this is proto Jungle Book right here. This is very pretty jungle, tropical, like, environment
you're
paintings.
right. You're right.
And
Even
also,
the animals that show
again,
up.
even the idea of like the dream logic, it has little. It's like between Jungle Book and Alice in Wonderland a little bit. Also, gotta love these monkey characters too. Well, I guess they're apes technically.
They look like they could be, well, not quite orangutans, but they got those long arms.
And the orange fur as well. You didn't guess that was gonna move because it was part of the background in the last shot.
Mm.
And now they're off in the great North American redwoods.
Well, it's a fantasy.
Is this a proto Humphrey Bear?
Maybe.
He's got the big goofy nose.
And just Humphrey's got a little bit more light brown.
Michael,
in his face,
you can't say that anymore.
John.
John?
John is the older one.
John is the older one. John, you can't say that.
Well, technically, it is still the American Indian Association, so...
Yes?
Really? Depends on who you ask.
Well, names stick over time. Oh, God.
You're not even going to question where that Tommy Hawk came from?
No. You don't look a gift tomahawk in the mouth, do you?
I'll forgive you. How old are you? 5?
He looks like he's 4. He's so small. As like Peter from Peter and the Wolf would be about 6. This kid looks like he's 4. Hey, John. Guys. This is very Bugs Bunny-ass disguise.
You really said that he was cunning. You really said that they were cunning but not intelligent. Wow.
Well,
I mean,
hey,
I guess
well,
they show that they are smarter.
At
than
least,
he
at least he was proven wrong about the unintelligent part. That doesn't make up for... Oh, God. They're worse than I remember.
It's not even a natural color. Their natural color.
I'm not even talking about the color of their skin. I'm talking about their faces. And there's the Trader Sam look-alike from the Jungle Book, the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland. Actually, funny enough, Disneyland didn't open yet, so that character design might have been the inspiration for Trader Sam.
And you would have thought in later iterations they would have fixed all this, but no.
Boy.
The damn whitewashing of Tiger Lily in that Pan movie.
Ugh.
Seriously, Once Upon a Time at least found a Native American actress for Tiger Lily.
Great. I do like Cubby's voice in this movie more.
Yeah. It's his very, very persona.
Oof. Okay, I will admit the way his crazy eyes were drawn there is a nice classic cartoon vibe. I like it. It's good expression.
That whole face and...
This whole face, like, beyond the horrible, horrible stereotype, this whole face is a great design. And even the horns create a nice silhouette. It's so unfortunate. It is so unfortunate.
And look, 3 Ariels.
I wouldn't...
Notice how some of those mermaids
actually,
just aren't really covered up.
Well, they're more covered up than the Centaurettes.
But
Okay,
look,
she's not wearing a top.
nothing-
She's not wearing a top at all. The one with the hair covering it.
And the
At least
one-
the
the one
other
with the
one had
flowers is not
flowers.
wearing a top.
At least she had flowers. Actually, I think you can see the one with the flowers in the theme park ride.
that,
So
that really does look like Ariel. That one right there, the Ariel-looking one.
I mean,
No
considering
top
that
at
Walt
all.
Disney was also planning on doing The Little Mermaid even as far back as this, not
Yeah,
too far out there.
do wonder if that took some inspiration, because even the style of her hair with the, you see what I mean?
With the swoop, yeah, definitely.
Swoop, yes, thank you. I was saying sweep.
Looks like his harem is jealous.
Well, the girls are so brutal in this.
Well, Peter's there. Peter's their boy. And you know what?
Peter just laughing at it.
Peter's being a real jackass about it.
Then he only intervenes when she fights back.
Oh well, if that's all. Also,
Dude!
can we point out the fact that Peter there, I mean, he wanted to de-escalate an actual tussle. They were splashing her and he didn't think it was a big deal, but like, come on, dude, you don't know the concept of someone catching cold? Well, I guess because he doesn't have a proper mother, like.
Plus, this is Neverland where nobody technically dies, so
I'm gonna have to keep watching until we get her back at the fire before I comment on the design of Tiger Lily. So let's save that until we see.
Well,
her
let's talk about the fact that she has one line, but
what line? I forget what line.
Help!
Oh, that's right. Wait a minute. Did they? Hang on. Did they get rid of her in the ride?
Oh, I think they still have her sinking in the water.
Yeah, because that was an iconic moment for me from the movie that was in the ride growing up.
I remember
because if they did, they certainly didn't remove the teepee section with the racist chief. So. Oof.
Are you trying to say that she kind of had like the white beauty standards to her facial structure?
I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. You know, again, I gotta see her in a different light for a minute. But like, on the topic of bright red, love the shade that they chose for Captain Hook's angry face there. And they're doing that a lot between Captain Hook and Tinkerbell. I noticed they just run very hot.
At least Tiger Lily looks a little bit more tan and less red, if you know what I mean.
Again, I want to comment on that when we get her in a different lighting. She's in shadow right now. It's not a fair comparison.
Yeah, you're right. Again, we are both white.
Because if I remember correctly, I think they did paint her like the same bright red as the others. Like. This is some Gilbert Gottfried type bullshit.
Right, Iago does do the same thing.
Not just Iago, but Digit from Cyber Chase also does this. Impersonating the hacker and Dr. Marbles. Like, absolutely insane.
Okay, now this part is funny on Peter Pan's. Like, what?
Yep. A very similar bright red on her face, you can see.
Right,
now that she's in the light.
I say Mr. Smee's not like the dumbest psychic, but here he's kind of naive.
Well, let's be fair. He believed that it was a ghost, so, you know.
Yeah, but then he thought it was, he thought it was Hook.
Actually, on the topic of the Shanghai Disney ride, they also replicate this moment here, too. Where Hook is sneaking up on Peter, pretending to be his voice. God, that is intimidating right there. He does that so well.
I startled by that shouting. Okay, Peter, this is where you got too cocky.
I know, right? You know, you almost want to wonder, maybe Smee is like, you know, let's just try to be kind to the crew, and like when Peter Pan does anything, he's kind of like, oh, it's just a lot of fun. Even he understood that like losing limbs is just kind of a part of the pirate's job, so it's just kind of a harmless prank on Peter's part. So it's look at him freaking go! It's like he's on a toboggan.
Yeah, I think if I were to compare Smee with any other Disney henchman, probably LeFou.
Yeah, but LeFou's a little more fruity. Mr. Smee is definitely like a loyal friend.
Yeah, I mean, well, and, you know, in the sense that he does care for his boss.
He's very like,
and he's
LeFou's
not as evil.
LeFou's got boyfriend energy. Smee has dad energy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Maybe more.
He's like, even where he's cheering on Captain Hook here, it's like a proud father almost.
He's probably the only reason Hook keeps him alive.
Jason Isaacs, Captain Hook in 2003, and Commander Zhao in The Last Airbender. I love Commander Zhao. What a great foil. But again, we're not talking about Avatar. We're talking about this. But that is a neat connection. But Captain Hook in 2003... Well, not Disney's Captain Hook, because that would be Corey Burton. Corey Burton does all the Hans... Conrad roles. Love this motherfucker. Off he goes.
You gotta feel bad for Hook in this.
Oh no! This is very much a Roadrunner and Coyote situation. Where it's like, I am just giggling the whole way. Like, I don't give a shit. It's great.
No, I mean...
Peter okay, Pan, sure. Like, you could definitely say that.
And fed it to a crocodile. That's the only reason the crocodile's going after him, because Peter Pan cut off his hand and fed it to him.
I'll definitely say a live-action Pan. Okay. Well, that's less of an animated connection, but I guess it is a Peter Pan connection.
And you know, Peter's just like, oh, you like controversy? No! And he kicks him right to him.
Okay.
Peter Pan's not against murder, okay? I mean, neither is Hook.
Yeah, that is true.
Peter does not get a pass for a hero in this movie. I'm sorry.
No.
He does not.
He shouldn't. Just... I mean, imagine that Warner Brothers and Tex Avery and fucking what's the other guy's name? Chuck Jones are making all these cartoons and doing this brilliant slapstick, and then the Disney animators come out here and do this. How angry do you think they'd be? You know? How mad? It's like,
I completely forgot about Tiger Lily. That's like the one line she gets, it's not even a full word.
Yeah. They probably just got any of the other women, like, in the studio to play her. Probably didn't even credit her because she only got the one line. Heck, maybe it was like a film tech. Like, maybe it was one of the women from the ink and paint department or something like that. Oh, God. The ripple effect that they do on water is so great.
I'm sorry. I get what you mean by Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, but the difference is that the Roadrunner always gets away. Look, it's a poor tortured soul.
Yeah. But I think the part that also works in its comedy favors is that the crocodile does never get him. He always survives. It's like, imagine the Joker from Batman, but instead of being a sociopath who murders people for fun, it's a captain who's just like always inches away from getting chomped in half, but never does because this crocodile is intent to swallow things whole. It's just hilarious.
I think I was mentioning like comics or something. It's a chase thing.
Oh wait, this is a different character. That might. I think this character is not the redhead, and he's the one. Ooh. They were using this sound effect in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Whoa. But where were they using it?
I'm trying to think. I know the sound you mean. I'm just trying.
I think it was somewhere at the tea party. Oh, it's a. They used the. I think they used something like a sped up version of the same sound effect when the watch is smashed. And then they're doing this in reverse. And they're doing it slower. The crazy green eyes.
Oh yes, back then Disney knew when Disney knew what being a pirate meant. Yeah, I've seen.
Give some
I haven't
credit.
seen
When
Jake and the Neverland Pirates, but I've seen the meme where like a good pirate never steals from others. I'm like, what?
Which is a sign that you see on the Disney cruise ships. And I get Hotfoot.
I mean, at least Pirate 101 gets a little more of the. I mean, there is adventure, but we're also kind of plundering for treasure a bit,
And kill anyone who gets in the way, basically.
well, it's rated E10 and up, so we don't actually kill anyone. We just kind of vaporize them and they fade away.
Welcome aboard, Blue Heart. Welcome aboard. If you want to match up your copy of Peter Pan, Captain Hook is about to come up with a brilliant plan. You know, give Hook some credit. This is a lot of sexist language going around. And again, these movies are largely written by a lot of dudes. But tell me that imagine any emotionally hot-headed, jealous person would end up doing stupid shit. And animation connection right here, for Disney here. This footage where he says, "You will go ashore," this right hand was replaced with a robot arm in CGI as a test for Treasure Planet. And if you have a Treasure Planet DVD or you look it up on YouTube, it is some of the prettiest test animations. They do it right alongside the pencils of this shot, and it's great. It's beautiful.
I guess that makes sense. I mean...
And here we go. I mean, if you're going to add a robot...
Kind of focused.
Okay, so you are right. She is a little more just tan. Wow. Okay, so aside from having a little bit of a white girl face, her skin color is actually much better than the rest of them. That is 1 point to the movie against all the 11,000 minuses for just this one song. God. Ugh.
And making fun of hand signals.
Yeah. It's not that it's not well animated, it's just incredibly offensive.
And here we go, this whole song.
You know, I really think Disney should have doubled backward and kept the natives in Neverland and just change them.
You notice how they didn't have her smoking?
Yes, true. Here it goes.
It's like, it's unbecoming of a lady.
And they're setting up all of the lyrics.
Wow,
they did that
okay,
earlier.
I found the animation you were talking about.
Oof. Okay, here we go.
I guess that
the lyrics are fiendishly clever. Like,
they're not true.
it's like the lyrics are clever. It's like he learns everything because he's always asking how. It's like, yeah, come on. Oh
Okay,
no, Queen of Hearts, why would you do red face like that? No. Seriously, it looks like they kind of ripped her design and
it
put
really
it in
depends on what kind of tribe, but women actually did a lot more than just get fire.
Oh, I get this woman here as well. Ugh.
Of course, because she needs to look pretty. Except for that one.
He said ugh when he saw his mother-in-law. Again, these are clever, but also very racist. How much you want to bet that the only respectful thing they did was do a reference for this dance? You know? Again, very clever, but also very racist.
Like, the best version of Tiger Lily I saw was one that used to be a fairy.
Of course Wendy is jealous.
Yeah. It's because Peter Pan just can't take a... He's clueless!
It's also paint that picture again. The perceived pretty... The pretty women in this tribe here are painted with the tan skin, even that goofy one with the perfectly spherical boobs. But these comedy women who are ugly, I guess. Ouch. And again, I have a hard time calling that woman with the baby on her back ugly, aside from being a racist caricature, because, like I said, she does vaguely resemble the Queen of Hearts, who is a very good design. I like Queen of Hearts' design.
They did more than get forward. They.
Oh yeah, no, like they would do a lot. They would defend against animals. They would hunt smaller animals, or for food. They would farm. They were very civilized, and yet just because it didn't look as civilized as our civilization, which is just a matter of perception.
And do you have any idea how hard it is to harvest all that corn and the squash and the beans? Those were the three crops.
Okay, gotta admire that the dedication to that drunken slur here is really, really well done. Like, even when he's barely had a drop already. Actually, he's probably been chugging that for a bit.
Because of this that inspired that.
Actually, here's a question.
Tangled hook guy.
Ooh, now there's some nice close-up. We don't see that a lot. We saw the close-up where they actually painted his lip pink, in a very realistic tone, just from the close-up shot, which pretty good. You don't see that a lot. Oh. They're doing it. I love the bags around
Well, it's
his
a
eyes.
perspective thing. In Tinker Bell's perspective, his lip would look a lot bigger.
He's very big, yeah.
The whole Jonathan Swift Gulliver's Travels thing.
Look at that.
And you even see the green in his eyes a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's green, not black.
Do they paint green eyes only on villains? Oh, look, they painted her eyes blue there.
They got green eyes.
Because you see the coachman from Pinocchio. You see Captain Hook here.
Oh yeah, don't you know green is a villain color until Bruno. I'm kidding. Though it's actually true.
Oh.
Wasn't even trying to play along. He was still just legitimately like, but we don't know where he lives.
No, legit, I think Smee may be drunk, but remember when he was saying, ain't it a bloomin' shame? I think he is playing along. No, he's very much in on the plan. I guarantee you 100%. He is in on the plan.
But he was like, oh yes, we're shipping out. No, wait.
It's like, yeah, but, oh, wait a minute. I mean, he's a little slow, but he can pick up on things. He's not even upset about it being Crocodile Creek. He's just, the anticipation is killing him. That was very Queen of Hearts of him. Get done with it! I mean, continue. Like when she said, sentence first, verdict afterwards. Also, what a sneaky bastard.
I know. Man, if you ever get to Once Upon a Time and see how they do Captain Hook in that show,
if it's on
your perspective.
If it's on Disney Plus, I'll find some time to watch it. Maybe when I'm done with the Proud Family, I'll watch Once Upon a Time. It's on Disney Plus, right?
Let's just say he's a lot less goofy and a lot more the suave side we see from him.
But that's the thing, though. That's how Captain Hook charms his way into things. He is suave. I mean, that mustache alone, anyone would, he could sell you snake oil. And he looks like a snake oil salesman, but he could do it. He has the charm, the charisma. God, that was impressive, Peter. Actually, no, not impressive, because we already saw him doing that earlier in the movie, where he was impersonating voices like that. Yeah.
He has no idea.
He doesn't understand.
Here's the thing. Peter Pan is a boy who never grows up, so he's stuck in that pre-pubescent stage.
He's like, he'll hang out with the girl because she's sweet, but he's still very
Tell
boyish.
stories about him.
But he's still very boyish. Ugh. And if you want an example of them skinning animals, there's the bearskin curtain right there.
Right.
Actually, I'll go ahead and make the joke. Oh no, they got to Humphrey Bear! What? I think this is a thing as well. There's some... Isn't this a thing in the play and the book that they almost forget? Yeah.
Mention it in Hook too, the movie.
They do, yeah, because they play with that in the plot. They almost forgot their father because he was manipulating the young lad, but the girl was so willing to not forget, even though she was younger. She was like, "But we gotta go home. I'm scared," you know. Hook is a movie we should put in the movie bitches server. That would be a great idea. Well, let's clean that cheek first.
Yeah.
You know, at least getting face paint from natives means it's not going to be a, you know, a lead-based paint, so. Probably be made from some fruits and crushed
I really
up
wish
leaves.
they'd address this more, how Wendy had discovered that she had to grow up here. I think the live-action Peter Pan movie showed that more, like, she went from...
She learned...
Like, I don't want to grow up, but then she's like, no, it's going to happen anyway.
She's having these feelings about Peter that she sees about her mother and father, and it's like... And she's really finally seeing it in herself that she is actually ready. Maybe if I am closer to my mother and father in that way, and that I have this, and I know what being a mother is like, maybe I am too old for the nursery. Maybe I do know what it means to be responsible, is really the angle here, you know?
Peter's
yes, very...
like, he listens for a second.
Here's another thing as well you'll notice. Her singing voice... I love this. All the pirates are so taken with it.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No, not improved. Deeper. It does almost sound like Catherine Beaumont just got older between movies and her voice changed. Because you'll hear how high her voice is in songs like, you know, all the songs that she sings in the movie, even the Golden Afternoon where she fucks up the high notes, which is such a great gag. Aww.
I miss my brother now. I remember we were so tiny. This is like one of the few movies that shows opposite gender sibling relationships. Disney, anyway.
Man.
Think about it. How often in Disney do you see brother and sister?
You know, you don't see that a lot.
You see sister, sister. You see brother, brother. The case of Little Mermaid, you see sister, 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 sister. 7 times.
How long did it take everyone how many days old were you when you found out they were the 7 C's, like between Ariel and the others?
Apparently only since they showed the images of the live action film. I didn't know that was what they were doing.
Yes, the humane option is to let him bleed out slowly from the neck, sure.
Actually, if you slit the throat correctly, it can be quick and painless. That's a butcher's.
Do you have to like go for the? Do you have to? Promise. I love the way he's.
I only know this.
Love that line read.
I only know this because it was mentioned in a play that I did the lights for, but like a butcher, like you cut right here.
Hey, you know,
it's completely painless for the animal, and they don't suffer.
Huh. You know, I want to.
Yes, it is.
I want to point out something.
In a way.
Of all the racist stereotypes, one that doesn't quite get called out because he's just
the guy
kind of
that
mixed
says?
into the pirate crew is the one guy with the big mustache and the fez.
Fez?
I get the image in my head because of the fez and the shape of the mustache. That original lyric from the Aladdin musical that made it to Broadway that Howard Ashman wrote is, "He once slew 70 Turks, mustaches, sabers, and real jerks." That pirate is what comes up in my head, especially since he is wearing a fez.
I know what you mean. The Turkish
And yet,
pirate.
he's such a great design. And again, for like a Mediterranean dude, he's got a nice tan, but he's also very white. But I mean, Europe colonizing itself back and forth, I guess. The Roman Empire and shit like that.
To be fair, there are light-skinned Turks.
Oh yeah, no, sure. Like
now there are.
And also with Rome and the conquering back and forth and shit like that, you'd almost imagine it was inevitable. I love this. Again, the perfectly round eyes with tiny pupils are always fun. The mouths. I almost have to imagine seeing Hans Conrad on stage just doing all these things. Actually, what if Hans Conrad was right-handed and so they then decided to make it the left hand? You wonder. I wonder, anyway. Yeah, she does have that mom voice. You notice something they're doing is somehow they are using the same drawing for the clock and moving it closer to the camera. I don't know how they're doing that, but it's super impressive. Because, like, in digital animation, that's easy to do. You just grow the asset. But in this era, you'd literally have to have it on a separate sheet. God. Oh, the trees! The silhouettes of the trees. You know, and as also give credit to Hook that he did pay his respects to the foe that he did in. He may have been a little underhanded about it, bit of bad form, but he did respect him in his death. But he didn't count on Tinkerbell saving his ass.
It's weird that they decided to go with a bomb versus the poison that was in the play.
I want to say that the reason they went with a bomb is because explosion makes for more fun animation than poison.
And I think they weren't sure how to do the whole audience interaction of everybody clap your hands.
Also, isn't that also the thing, like, where Tinkerbell is slowly dying thing, though?
Yeah, so, like, if you believe, clap your hands, and then the audience will come in.
Yeah.
It's all, that's the...
But, like, but unless it's a cartoon joke, you don't get animations breaking the fourth wall, especially in these narrative films.
I think the way they did that in the live-action Peter Pan, you know the one I'm talking about. Was it 2003?
I've never seen that one.
Never seen... Okay.
I've only seen that Fox movie Pan, like from...
Oh, God, no.
That was not a great one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
Some of the visuals were great, though.
They would have been more respectful of the
colorful.
Native American part after 20 years.
God.
Wendy's such a trooper.
God, the way the mustache just withers.
Wendy's such a great gal in this misogynistic world.
Also, we gotta point out the one other pirate with an actual name, Mr. Starkey over here. There he is.
Have you noticed that a lot of Disney heroines tend to be in blue?
That does happen a lot, doesn't it? Even Ariel wears a blue dress.
Yeah, when I was...
But, like...
I heard someone saying, like, well, like, why... about a little girl, like, why you have her dressed in blue? Is she supposed to be a boy? Like, have you seen, like, all the Disney girls? Most of them, at some point, wear blue.
Yeah, at some point or other. Well, except, like, unless you're talking about merchandise and theme parks, Cinderella wears a silver dress.
You're right.
Anyway.
I'm just trying to think of her other outfits. No, she wore blue when she was young.
She did! God damn it!
Yeah. Is it just like...
Also,
is it because it's a calming color or something?
Those cannonballs, that 4-year-old boy lifted that cannonball with, like so little effort. I mean, it took some effort, but so little effort for a young boy. That is just cartoon comedy right there.
Okay, and speaking of gender colors, look how many guys are wearing pink in this movie.
Well, I mean,
Michael's wearing pink. The pirates are wearing pink.
Well, the pink
Hook's wearing
shirt
pink.
Well, give Hook some credit. The pink shirt really complements his red outfit.
Oh, I mean, like, it's ridiculous that people like think pink is girl, blue is boys. When
Yeah.
where do you see
Actually,
that
yeah.
in the media,
Actually,
though?
Michael is also wearing a little blue onesie, little pink onesie. That's right.
Yeah, that's what.
And this Turkish pirate over here.
Pink eyes. That guy had pink eyes for a frame.
Like literally one frame.
Well, maybe like one shot. More like. That's like
Yeah, it's
crazy
just
pink
it's
eyes.
one of those eras like when the Cheshire Cat's head gets painted purple instead of deep shade of magenta, you know. It's one of those coloring errors that just kind of slips by. There's the watch sound effect. I knew it was in this movie. I knew it. Because the sound effect was probably from something else. Like maybe a Mickey cartoon. I don't know.
He ate the torch. I
Wait,
didn't realize he ate
was
the
it
torch.
in Casey at the Bat and Make My Music?
I don't remember.
I'll have to go back and check that.
It's been a while since I watched that.
I mean, it's been a few weeks since I watched that. God, this shot is so good!
Why am I paying so much attention to the water all of a sudden?
It's so good. Okay, that's clever. Where they have the one rope that's on a piece of celluloid, but that piece of celluloid is behind the watercolor rope, where they actually cut out the rope from the watercolor paper so that they can put the rope behind it. That is brilliant. So smart. Because it means instead of having to draw the line on top of the celluloid where the rope would cut off, which would be noticeable, it seamlessly blends it in a way where you're not thinking about it.
The crocodile's just watching and waiting.
He's very patient. Give him some credit.
I would be if they're chasing that guy for years.
Now, I want to catch. Nope. He did only jump. Yep. Because you can actually feel the gravity of the way he falls. You know,
this
different than how he
whole
would float
scene
down.
just gives me flashbacks to the epic Mickey level where you defeat Robo Captain Hook.
Actually,
it took me forever. I kept falling off the damn mast.
I downloaded.
That's how I lost all my lives.
I downloaded the Dolphin emulator, so I'm actually probably gonna play that later in the year.
If you want the good path, save the sprites. And knowing you're probably gonna go for the bad path first.
Slap in the water. Also,
Yeah,
we gotta
touch it.
talk
I want
about.
touch it.
Gotta give some credit to the sound department because the splashing sounds so adorable. Sorry, Hook. Our fight was over. Duel is won, and now I can fly. Yada yada. God.
Okay, and Pan's defense there. He did spare Hook's life, but then Hook attacked him.
Yeah. Love the little red ring in the crocodile's eyes. This, with the legs apart, is how they have him at the end of the ride. Only instead of his outfit being all skipping captains. It's so great.
He doesn't die.
And now they have the Jolly Roger. The ship is ours, gentlemen. And one more thing about the dark ride at Disneyland. A brilliant thing they do is that they have they have two separate show scenes on the same boat.
Yeah.
And the way they disguise it is that the sail blocks the other half. It's absolutely bloody brilliant. They have Hook and Peter Pan on, like, the front rod of the ship, you know, where they always have, like, the mermaid figurine, and they have them fighting on there. Then they have a sail blocking the back half, so that once you round the corner and are on the other side of the sail, Peter Pan and crew have taken over the ship, and Tinkerbell puts her pixie dust all over it and starts turning the steering wheel gold. It's really clever.
I remember that.
It's so smart. And I think there's a version of the ride where they actually have the bottom half of Pirates knocked out on the other side of the boat, too, which is also really clever.
Okay, yeah, so apparently the 2003 Peter Pan film is on Netflix.
Oh.
Maybe. Maybe.
I'll have to look into
I will
that.
say that version is probably the closest to the original source material than any other adaptation.
Do you, though?
Well,
Well-
I think Walt Disney was really trying to... maybe my dad just had it really hard and he didn't really mean it.
I mean, when you go to Hollywood at a young age and try to make it in the movie business and have your first creative cartoon character stolen from you, you may understand what it feels like to get a raw deal and realize, yeah, you want to work hard for what you have, and maybe this is how my father felt. And so he makes the father just as tough, but he also manages to redeem and forgive at the end.
Oh, yeah.
He does the same thing. He does the same thing in Mary Poppins as well.
Yeah. And has a mustache like his dad.
Yep. Also notice that Walt grows a nice mustache himself, just in real life. Also, on that comparison...
My dad's like, wait, what?
Like, I'd almost say that she's not necessarily like a brunette, more like a dirty blonde. And so between Alice and Wendy, two blonde girls with blue eyes wearing blue dresses.
I used to think she was a redhead.
I mean, it's not quite red. Peter Pan's hair is red, especially compared to Wendy's.
What? Maybe it's because Jane's looks a lot more red.
Again, the fucking round ass eyes. I mean, you're all right. The Jane does have kind of
This line.
Maybe it's a. Aww. It's so sweet.
What do you think that last line means?
What do I think?
They never really explained it, so I just wanted
I think
what you think it means.
You know how everybody asks, why do the parents never question that Santa Claus brings gifts? It's like, they always assume the other parent did it or something like that, but here's the real kick in the shins. It's the same logic here. In the same way that the kids were forgetting their mother in Neverland, in the real world, you forget Neverland. I think that might be the way they're going about it, honestly.
So maybe it was with Robin Williams' Hook, that maybe they had gone to Neverland at some point, or the dad had, and he forgot.
Yeah, it's not out of the question. I mean, well, in that movie, the dad was Peter Pan. That doesn't really count, does it?
I know, and I'm like, it's very interesting how they just leave that. They have that line there, and leave it very open-ended to what it means.
Also, I think just from the spooky vibes alone, I think Claude Coates had to have been supervising on the cloud. The cloud at the end that looked like the ship, but it still very much looked just like a cloud. It's like, really well done. Really well done.
Yeah, the fact that both the parents see it kind of
suggests
suggests maybe it wasn't a dream.
Perhaps it was real.
And if you go in the sequel really goes on that.
Oh, they
well,
really
wasn't
lean
great.
on. I mean, the thing is, the fun of it is like, unlike Alice in Wonderland, which was concrete, or Wizard of Oz, which MGM turned concrete. This movie leaves it open-ended enough for it to be true. Was it? It's like it's enough where what you believe to be true is technically canon. Was it a dream? The father had the same dream. Was it real? The father went there when he was very young and does not remember. And also, but also point out the fact the dog confirms that, yeah, that does look kind of like a pirate ship. Which means that the cloud formation was at least real. That much we can guarantee.
Well, and they really changed the ending here from the play. And there, they really were gone for a long time.
Oh, yeah,
and
no,
his
absolutely.
mother was waiting at the window. And then when they do come back, they come with the Lost Boys. And they've adopted them all.
As Wendy promised.
Yeah.
Oh my god, is this a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer scenario where they change the ending and it's like you're gonna get a bunch of angry letters saying, Santa Claus said that they would go back for the Misfit toys, but they never did.
Well, they said, oh no, the Lost Boys weren't ready. Yeah.
Yes,
maybe by the time the granddaughter comes along, they will be.
Perhaps. Well, beautiful movie, a lot of fun, and all the songs, yes, all the songs are catchy as hell and have great lyrics. But that one song never,
gonna be ripping apart.
ever, not ever, examine, sing, or present that song outside of a, educational and informational context. That song, that goddamn song, the lyrics, then you listen to lyrics, goddamn, they're clever in how racist they are. God, it's like when he got his first kiss, he started blushing and they kept blushing ever since. Like, that is clever, but it's also really fucking offensive. It's like,
yes.
God, it's like, why do you gotta dedicate such clever lyric writing to a horrible song? Also, actually, let me chew out the lyrics at the end. Now you've heard the story of the Red Man, the real true story of the Red Man, no matter what's been written or said. It's like,
now you know why the Red Man red.
Sure, Jan, that's the real story. That's exactly how he happened.
And no, they're Red Man because you call them red when they are really not red.
Counterpoint. Maybe they haven't invented sunscreen yet. You ever think about that? Maybe they're a little tan and a little sunburned. Just throwing this out there. It's always a possibility. Because let's paint the picture. Because I'm gonna point out, because even sunburnt people don't look that red. You really have to exaggerate that kind of bullshit. In order to get that.
Don't go singing that song. It's like when that one guy, when I was doing song requests, he said, oh, can you do that song from Dumbo? No, not the one about elephant flying, but the camp song, that, as I'm calling it.
I believe it is.
Why the hell would you want me to sing that?
I believe the friendly title from the educational standpoint, you would call it the Roustabout song, but I think the actual title would be Happy Hearty Roustabouts, or it's just Roustabouts. Kind of like how everybody thinks that the song Belle is called Bonjour, but no, it's like the word at the end of the chorus. What's the word at the end of the chorus? Belle. That's the name of the song, dingwad.
Belle, parentheses, Bonjour.
I mean, I don't even think that's the case. Maybe on the album, maybe in Broadway, but I think the song is just called Belle. Like, in most references I find, it's just called Belle.
But yeah, I was like so appalled.
Especially since the song is about
can you
her,
sing that song from Dumbo, the one they say, we work all day, we work all night? Like, no.
Nope.
It will not. I refuse. I've blocked that guy a long time ago.
It's
that one's not the first
thoroughly
time.
unfortunate. Okay, at least that song is a little too dredgery. Kind of, and actually, to put that on.
We work all day, we work all night. We never learn to read or write.
It does have the beat of a working song. So even there, it's like, yeah, okay,
yes, but there's
off.
Working songs like Happy Working Song where you're just cleaning all la-di-da, and then there's stuff that says like you hairy ape and all that.
Yeah. Now I think they were more going along the lines of working songs like old slave time working songs like I've Been Working on the Railroad, where those songs originate and come from. but like, but in this movie with the Red Man song, it's like, oh god, this one actually has a really catchy beat, god damn it, you know? And it's like, even the melody is so memorable. It's fucking very unfortunate. In fact, they put a warning up in front of Saludos Amigos, but even with some of the caricatures they do and the stuff, that movie is way more respectful to South American cultures than anything in this movie,
and
in terms of Native Americans.
And the Three Caballeros, which also has a warning, at least they actually had Latin American actors in the Latin American roles.
Yeah.
Even the animated ones, which they didn't have to do, but they did.
Even the original actor for Joe Carioca is actually Brazilian. Like
Brazilian and a Mexican for
Panchito.
Is he Mexican specifically? Yes, yeah.
Actually,
yes.
I think that's really
which
funny.
Is pretty big for the 40s.
It's really funny as well. Is like, I always confuse this one voice actor with Rob Paulsen, and he's the current voice of Jose Carioca. But then it is actually Rob Paulsen who at least did for a while Panchito.
Yeah.
I do have to wonder about that. Does he have like a Spanish background or not? It's like,
well, Brazilian is not Spanish.
Exactly. Well, no. Rob Paulsen did Jose Carioca in like the House of Mouse and stuff like that.
Yes, but Brazilian is not Spanish.
But this actual Panchito. He did Panchito. Am I saying that right? Panchito's Mexican.
Panchito.
I mean, Mexican's not.
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mexican's technically not Spanish. Yeah, you're right. They only speak a version of Spanish.
No, I mean, they don't even speak Spanish in Brazil. That's what I mean.
No, they speak Portuguese. And I think the actor, the Carlos Alvarenga or something, Carlos is his first name, but I think he is Brazilian or Hispanic of some sort. Some form of Latino.
Yeah. Then in DuckTales, they got
Carlos
the right nationalities.
Carlos Alazraqui. That's such a weird last name. I always forget it. Carlos Alazraqui.
Oh, yeah, right. Bella Pig Savage is in the chat. She's actually from Brazil.
Yes.
so she's excited now.
All right. Well, I think that is going... Yes, Panchito is Mexican. Yeah. So I do wonder about...
he literally says, like, my friends. Bienvenidos a Mexico.
Oh, yeah, I do know Carlos Alazraqui did do Brocco's Modern Life and the Taco Bell Chihuahua. Yeah, I remember that. But you know, on the topic of caricatures and stuff like that. You know, eventually they're gonna get their you know, all of their Hispanic caricatures when they bring in, they're gonna get all their Latino caricatures once they get Cheech Marin in Disney roles, which I think starts with like Oliver and Company with the Chihuahua. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later.
We'll get to that eventually.
All the dogs are caricatures of a sort.
I'm gonna say that is going to be it for tonight. Wonderful movie, and I would recommend it for young children just on the principle that it is great and fanciful fun. And remember that 10-second warning, that 12-second warning at the front on Disney Plus may be interesting, but it's not entirely helpful. It's always best to inform your children ahead of time. Your nieces, your nephews, your grandkids, always inform them and educate, and always remember that it was wrong then and is wrong now, and to pretend that these things never happened would be to erase history, and we certainly ain't doing that. Thank you all so much for joining us on this delightful, fanciful movie. If you're viewing this after the fact, thanks for watching along, and I hope the little hiccup at the front didn't offset your syncing the movie. And until next time, remember to take care, stay safe, and be kind in all that you do. Good night, everybody!